Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Got Ben Barrack on the program, coming to the rescue, and that's, with great music. Bonanza. I love that show, love that music. Great memories there. And we got that thing going here on today's show. Different TV shows that show how old I am. And so we'll be playing some of that music. Ben Barrack, he's a radio personality and great friend of The Price of Business. Ben, introduce yourself by telling us about your radio program and your website.
Thanks, Hoss.
Yeah, there you go. I was actually called Little Joe growing up.
Yeah,
even though my middle name is Joseph, so my older brothers and my dad would call me Little Joe, inspired by Little Joe on Bonanza.
I remember the syndication. I don't remember when it was on in prime time. But,
yeah, I saw it, I think, in syndication, too, mainly. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, you and I both in radio. I broadcast up near Fort Hood in the Temple, Belton, Killeen area on KTEM 1400.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you do a great job by getting people, keeping people in the know. Tell us, on the news front. I mean, what was the final adjudication on the terrorist that opened fire there at Fort Hood?
Well, he was given he was sentenced to death.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But we at the moment it's still just hanging out there. I mean, who knows how long it's going to take? I know he's accumulated a bunch of money courtesy of the U.S. taxpayer because he was still getting paid throughout the entire ordeal. And from what I understand, he's already spent the money, so it can't be brought back. So,
what did he spend it on?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe an Islamic charity? I don't know.
Yeah, I would guess that's probably true. Yeah, that's an interesting. Women and booze, according to my producer. I don't know. But yeah, that's why he's a producer and I'm the host. But anyway, tell me about all the interesting crises out there. America is obviously in hot water, no question about it. Which one scares you the most today?
Well, it's not the shutdown.
No, I love the shutdown, but I like to see it continue in infinity. Just let it keep going because we're saving bukus of money during this shutdown, regardless of what the left tells you. And it costs us more. Now, right now, we're saving a fortune. We'll have to repay those employees, but that's all we're repaying back. We're not paying for a bunch of programs we did not do. And so I say let it continue. Although I do worry about this debt situation. That's really scary for me, actually. But what do you see? That's
I mean, even that, I don't know that. Who knows? I mean, there's so many people out there that are supposed experts that said a government shutdown would be a disaster. Well, they were proven wrong, and they still get credibility for some unknown reason. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with the debt ceiling, but it's my understanding that if the debt ceiling is reached and it's not extended, that we will not default. We will pay the interest on our debt, and maybe like you say, with the shutdown, we have seen by necessity, necessarily have seen a reduction in the deficit. I mean, by just simple economic calculations, it just happens that way. So, would something similar happen with not extending the debt ceiling? I don't know. It's not my area of expertise, but I will say this, Kevin. Unintended consequences are not in and of themselves bad, but they're always kind of interpreted to be that. But what we have seen since the shutdown, Boehner, for the first time that I can remember, has stood his ground, and good things have happened. I mean, despite the media and the White House basically being a ventriloquist dummy of the White House, despite all that, the public perception, reality seems to be catching up to perception, and that that Obama is responsible for this. These games with the barricades at the World War II Memorial and those kinds of things show.
Oh, and we're talking about veterans' families, soldiers' families not getting the transportation to go, collect the body. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
and the reality is that Congress gives the Department of Defense huge amount of discretionary money. This administration wants to make it as excruciatingly painful as humanly possible, because this administration can't live without government. Surprising how well we can. And they're just trying to make it as miserable as humanly possible. I do want to say this, though, on the debt ceiling. The Economist magazine, which I consider probably the most credible news magazine out there, said that history suggests that even a technical default can be costly. America's only known instance of outright default, other than refusing to repay debts in gold in 1933, occurred in 1979 when the Treasury failed to redeem $122 million, which is nothing compared to what we're talking about, of Treasury bills on time. It blamed unprecedentedly high interest from small investors, a delay in raising the debt ceiling, and a word processing equipment failure. And although it repaid the money and a penalty to boot, a later study by Terry Zinvi, now of Ball State, and Richard Marcus of the University of Wisconsin found it costs a 60 basis point interest rate premium on some federal debt. That would cost $86 billion a year, or a 0.6% of the GDP. That's just for a glitch. And what people, I don't think, understand is that it doesn't even have to happen. Things like our interest rates are based a lot on emotional things, not even actual happenings. And so, you saw our credit rating take a hit just at the threat of a default last time. Well, if anything even remotely like that, we take another hit, we'll see our credit rating drop again. This is, to me, one area we can't play in. And the thing about it is that these Republicans voted for budgets that allow for the debt ceiling increase. They voted for $80 billion in cuts. That's laughable. That was, you can't have it both ways. You can't vote for the spending increases that lead to a debt ceiling increase and then at the same time not vote for the ceiling increase. That's the epitome of fiscal irresponsibility.
Yeah, it sounds pretty hypocritical, too. What are you talking about, Kevin? Glitches? This government doesn't have glitches. Look at Obamacare. It's running flawless. Oh, wait.
Yeah, absolutely. But, yeah, by the way, I do want to encourage people. I have an article about it over at HuffingtonPost.com. Put in Kevin Price, and it comes up as the most recent article I wrote. And I'm with you on Boehner. I wish this guy showed up a lot sooner. The problem is we all know what Boehner's like, and when he talks, you just feel like he's lying.
Well, and the thing about that is that the reason that I attribute to Boehner doing this is Ted Cruz. Yeah. Everywhere you look, people are saying Ted Cruz had a flawed strategy. It was a no-win situation, didn't have the numbers. Well, again, we get to the unintended consequences. What he did was galvanize the base and put more pressure on Boehner than he's ever had before from that base, and it has caused him to have a backbone. So these people who say that this was a bad strategy, like Ron Johnson, who's been a disappointment, and Kelly Ayotte, these are two supposed Tea Party senators. What happened to them already? Yeah,
unbelievable. They got comfortable rather quickly. I always get worried if they held an elected position before they got elected to Congress.
I don't know.
Yeah, but my concern is whenever they do, they just don't get it. They eventually become corrupt by being a part of the culture anyway. But they already come corrupt if they already served in a legislature back home, for example. That's been my experience. Ben Barrack, great guy, great. Really always a great guest in this program. Your website before I let you go.
BenBarrack.com. BenBarrack.com.
Thanks for being with us.
All right, Kevin. Take care.
All right, when we come back, much more for you. You're listening to The Price of Business on Business Talk 1110 AM.
In the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name.